Hi, nice to meet you.
Hi, Michelle Rock. To meet you.
Kevin O'Rourke, nice to meet you. So, welcome.
Thank you.
How's your day going so far?
So far, really good.
Great. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I went to St. George's University, and I'm actually from Washington State. Before medical school, I decided I wanted to go into EM, emergency medicine, and the reason is because I was a technician for a couple of years before that, and absolutely loved it. Being able to manage things, multiple things at once, being the leader in a very chaotic kind of situation is something that really excites me, being part of EM. And I've made my life surrounded around emergency medicine since then.
Okay, great. Tell me a little bit about your family.
Well, I have a brother, and my parents just recently moved to Kauai, so I have a wonderful place to visit now during the holidays, and it's just us four. So we're very close-knit family. I grew up in Washington State, so they just moved to Hawaii. So Hawaii is now my home.
Okay. All right. So people said really nice things about you on your application, a lot of glowing things. What'd they miss? What's your weakness?
What is my weakness? My weakness is I don't necessarily know how to say no. I tend to say yes to a lot of things and put a lot of things on my plate all at once. Sometimes after a while that can get a bit much. So managing my time is a very, sometimes my weakness, because I tend to say yes to a lot of opportunities, and then after a while say, wow, that was a little much to handle, because I like to do things 100% and not 50%.
Okay. On the flip side of that, what's something your strong suit?
My strong suit is being a leader. Most things that I've done, even leading up to medical school, I loved being on the leadership side. So whether that was being the captain of the swim team or starting up a swim team at my undergraduate education or being the training director for the emergency medicine group at my undergraduate college, I was always jumping into a leadership position. So I'd say that's one of my best qualities.
Okay. What kind of stuff do you like to do outside of medicine?
I love to do a lot of things. The biggest thing, I tend to, every time I have a vacation, I travel. I love to travel. My most recent trip was this last spring. I went to Asia. I just kind of, after my step one, needed a break. So I went to China, I went to Vietnam and Thailand. Like a couple years before that, I went to South America, so I love to travel.
What's your favorite place you've ever been?
That's pretty hard because they're all different. But I would say Peru was great because I got to be in the Amazon rainforest then. That wasn't just play, that was some work. Mm-hmm. I was actually volunteering with a medical team during that time. That was before I was even in medical school. So I was pretty much more on the learning side there than actually providing medical care. But it sparked my interest in doing international work once I did get my medical degree.
Okay. If you weren't an ER doctor, what would you do with your life?
What other kind of medicine would I be into?
Anything.
What would I do?
You could pick anything else to do.
I would do social work, I think. Because I want to meld medicine and humanitarian work all together. And so I'd say that would be my focus, whether that was filling some kind of need internationally or within the United States. Whether that's, I think I would be involved in healthcare, definitely, if I wasn't a doctor. And it would be more making sure that everyone has equal access to healthcare. So somehow that involvement. And it would involve traveling.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are you looking for in a program?
There's a couple things. Biggest thing for me is camaraderie. I know how in emergency medicine how important teamwork is, especially kind of being on the bottom of the totem pole when I was an employee in the emergency room, is camaraderie against the residents and the environment of the emergency department. I've worked in another one and just actually rotated in another one, and I know how from each emergency department how the environment differs. And so for me, I look through a program that has really good teamwork, that's their focus, patient care being the focus. And then I think opportunities to do fellowships afterwards very important. That wouldn't be something that would make me pick a program over another, but the biggest thing would be the energy and the camaraderie within the residents would make me choose one or the other, I think.
Okay. What's your biggest fear about starting residency?
I have a lot of fears, but I think my fears are stemmed in the fact that there's a lot of unknown. But the biggest thing is making medical decisions and being that person that people come to. It's a catch-22. I love being that person, but I want to make sure that when I am that person, I have the best training possible, that I can make the best decision that would benefit the patient. So I'm fearful of that. So it's a kind of a catch-22, is being that one that's making the absolute 100% decisions and being the person people turn to.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about your research experience.
So my research experience is a little light. I did some clinical research experience more on the follow-up end in undergrad, dealing with comparing 2 surgical procedures in actually pediatric cardiac surgery at Stanford University. I was just on the follow-up side, making sure that the patients, after having a condition called transtransition of the great arteries, seeing how they followed up. So I was more on the clinical side there. Now I'm doing, haven't officially published anything yet, but I'm working closely with a couple colleagues who are PGY2s in a program here on the Northeast. And I'm going to be involved in reviewing a lot of hot papers in EM. One that I just recently read was comparing chest x-ray versus ultrasound and comparing that and diagnosing pneumothoraces. And the plan is to read that paper and review it in a short synopsis. So when emergency medicine doctors don't have a lot of time to review that hot paper, they can read my review really quickly. So that's something that I'm working on, yet to publish, but it's something that I'm focusing on now.
Okay. Are you interested in staying in New York?
I'm interested in going anywhere, actually.
Okay.
I don't really have any roots. I know that it's important to be by family, but I know that this is a very important time for education. So education for me comes first. I love New York. I just moved here a year ago, so I think it's a wonderful place for opportunity, and I wouldn't mind staying here.
What questions do you have for me?
I have a lot of questions, but the main one is what makes your program, what are you most proud of about your program?
Okay. The thing I'm probably most proud of is the people here. I really like the work we do. I think we're a good team, like you said. You know, that's why I do emergency medicine, is because I like working with techs and clerks and nurses, and I like knowing everybody's name, and I like, you know, having that team. And you know, I work all nights, and I have my night team, I have my night nurses, and I have my night clerks and my night techs, and you know, we'll go to bat for each other, and we work hard for each other, and the nurses will bend over backwards and help me out and do kind of, you know, whatever I need to happen to take care of the patient. And so, you know, and then I like the residents too, I guess. But they're what makes this job fun. Educating, I think, it's why I do what I do. So
that's wonderful. I also prefer night shifts. I really like night shifts. When I was a tech, I tried to do as many night shifts as I could. Some other questions I have is, what improvements are you making in your program?
I think the biggest improvement that at least I would like to impart on our program is to improve our didactics. You know, I would like us to get away from somebody sitting up with a PowerPoint and just lecturing to you, but being more engaging and doing more small groups. So since I've been here for 3 years now almost, we've done more small groups, more like panel discussions, more audience response systems. So just kind of improving the didactics so that you're getting more of an educational experience.
That's great. Wonderful.
So, you know, you have a pretty good application overall. One thing that I'm concerned about, though, is that you had to take step 1 twice because you failed the first time. Tell me what happened there.
Well, unfortunately, I ended up coming down with the flu the day before the exam. I felt really prepared before then, and then I just wasn't feeling well going into the test. I should have rescheduled it, but I just felt like I could actually pull through, and unfortunately my score didn't reflect my ambition. So the second time I took it, I ended up with a score of 230 on my step 1, and I was really proud of that. unfortunately, the fact that I failed sort of overshadows that score. But then later on, I showed that my consistency with my step 2 CK, getting around again at 230 again. So I think that shows that I do know my content, and my GPA reflects that as well. But unfortunately, I came down with the flu, and so I attribute that low score to that.
Anything else?
No, I think that's it.
All right. Well, it was nice to meet
It
you.
was wonderful to meet you.
Good luck on the interview trail.
Thank you.